In Kansas City, there's a community of indie game developers who meet up regularly to co-work, discuss game design, and to be social. It's known as Flyover Indies. When my Sundays are free, I try to drop by the study hall event to see what other people are working on, and to get some extra work done myself. I thought it would be neat to highlight some things that others are working on, so let's take a look. And sorry about the industrial coffee bean swirling machine noise happening in the background.
At the moment, but I'm trying to make my motorcycle not be like a car, basically.
So how many vehicles have you done so far? Because I know I saw your car one.
The original one?
Yeah.
This, I can't even count how many iterations this has been. This is the second vehicle I'm attempting to add to the game. I've been working with it just as like a basic sedan, essentially.
Yeah.
Just kind of, get the core of it there. And last week I started testing it with just 2 wheels to see if it'll work or not.
Woo! Cool.
And it's definitely not right, but it's far better than I expected. I've got some weird balancing issues because, it's a motorcycle that was definitely going to come up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm generally pretty happy with the fact that it's not complete trash at this point. I would like to add big trucks with, 6 wheels, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Every time I see it, it looks really cool.
Well, thank you.
It looks fun to me, even if it's not finely tuned to whatever specific bike physics are.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm learning a lot about cars along the way.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm going to be working on is a action system with the game. I've got this weird idea to tie certain actions into the beat of the music. And, so I'm going to be experimenting with that today to see if I can get it to work even a little bit, and if I can, see if it's off or not. Hopefully
it's like a limitation.
Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so you see it's the D-pad, X is jump, and square is use your sword. You can hit. So the point is that you hit the ball into the spikes.
Okay.
And you have 3 different sword attacks. It's like neutral sword, forward sword, and back sword. They have different hit angles. If you hit the spikes, it just moves them forward, and so you can also hit each other.
Oh, that's really cool.
Thanks.
No.
But yeah, if you think of any gameplay stuff that feels weird or bad, at this point I'm totally just it's a minute yet. There's not a whole lot of pomp yet about getting a point, but you can also press down to zoom backwards really fast.
Oh, that's so cool. That's the save.
Yeah.
You have to do it when you're landing. Oh,
only on the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the ball gets hotter as you hit it, so it gets faster.
Right.
Kind of like we do, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is cool.
Thanks.
I like it.
So tell me about your games.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Calvin. I make games. And this game is called Road to Todd the Toad. It's a game where you protect frogs and protect them from wasps so that they can eat flies. And I'm working on an update that will let you take care of frogs and raise them and name them and give them cute outfits.
Little virtual pet extra
Yeah,
part.
exactly. I'm really excited for that, and the version without that update is free, so you guys should go play it and check me out on it.
Tell me about your Santa game.
Hello, I'm Jake Lacombe. I'm from Twisted Hawk Studios, and every year, for the past 2 years, I've been making Christmas games. And this year, I decided to make a sneaking game where you play as the jolly old Nick. So basically, the game is self-explanatory. You're Santa, You don't want kids to catch you, and you need to give them their presents.
I'm gonna have to add subtitles over the videos and stuff.
So now you'll choose your level. And then the goal is, you want to get to those Christmas trees and drop the presents without the kids seeing you. And there's also a dog that you can either go the long way or the fast way. Ah, I missed it. Okay, so this level I screwed up on. But I can try again.
So when you put presents under the little tree changes?
Yep. Yeah. So the goal is, you want to get to every Christmas tree there is and leave presents. There is a dog that will sense where you are and come chasing after you. Now you can either get the bone and you can distract it, or you can dodge it.
Yeah.
But the goal is get every tree and then leave to where the kids won't see you.
Does the dog wake up after a certain amount of time?
As you walk by it.
Okay.
So like there's a radius sensor that the dog picks up on.
Yeah.
And if he catches you in that, he'll start chasing after you. Now once you lay the bone though, basically the dog is completely distracted, so you're free to just walk your way on through. I like
pretty good at your own game.
I've done a lot of my own play testing. Did I miss a tree? Oh shoot, I did.
You missed the tree. Hello, it is Friday, but I have to work this afternoon, so I will probably edit this video on Saturday, so I can do a little bit extra programming on today, once I get done. So yeah, I'm gonna work on my map editor and hopefully have something a little bit better to show. Wednesday, today's Friday. Wednesday, I just did class prep, and whenever I make video lectures for that, for the database course, I will post those up as well. But I have a lot of work to do before the semester starts as well. So, busy. Do you like my fashion? I got this cool hat. I don't usually wear hats, except for like slouchy beanies, but I don't know. We'll see. This looks kind of cool, maybe? I don't know. So, it is now Saturday, and I feel like I have gotten quite a bit done in the map editor. It's not yet ready for me to export maps to put into the game, but I could probably get that done this week, if nothing else comes up. But I also have to prep for classes, but I'm going to try to be more regular and work on the coding every day. I did manage to get 2 hours of coding done this morning because the cats woke me up at 5 a.m. I got up at 6 because I couldn't go back to sleep. And so I coded from 6 to 8 and I added a lot of features. So before I wrap up this video, I thought I'd talk more about just kind of how the map editor works. It's a little bit messy. It's kind of a mix between messy code and a little bit like structured and kind of cleaned up code. It's just that I'm probably going to end up changing things around when I make this a more fully fledged map editor. And you can see Luna back there getting into my yarn like a naughty cat. But yes, let's look at the code. So here is what the map editor looks like. I have added quite a few features. I mean, everything here had to be basically implemented from scratch. So you'll notice there's a little grid here that's invisible. The map format doesn't necessarily need to be grids, but for the time being, the map editor saves or just uses a grid system. I could change that later to be more freeform or be able to toggle it. I had to implement UI buttons and labels. I will do a text box later on so that I can just type in any width and height. I just didn't feel like doing that. I didn't feel like I needed to for this initial version. Let me move this cat who is making noise. I implemented these buttons that are toggleable. I still need to add a different screen over here for when you're doing warps or character placements or collision. So that's the next thing I'll be working on as this new week starts. You can set layers. You can go beyond 9, but the keyboard shortcuts go from 0 to 9. And then there's some keyboard shortcuts to navigate over through the tile set, so I don't have to do it by clicking on it, but I could also click on it. I can set the width and height independently, and I also keep track of the undo stack size. So let's say I draw some things here and I just hit Control Z, I can erase what I have been drawing. There's the total tile count, and when I save, also it automatically backs up every so often. But when I save, it will store the map itself. So here is the map format, similar to what it was before with all of the information. Each row is one tile, and then I can have different layers. So here's different layers being set. And then I also store that undo stack. So when I close this, let's say for some reason SFML still captures my mouse inputs and my keyboard inputs even when I am not giving focus to this window. But let's say we close this and reopen it. I can hit Control Z and continue. Let's see, it probably detected a lot of stuff beforehand. Or maybe it's just not going to work. Maybe because I right-clicked at some point, because that at the moment clears out that stack. So I'd have to implement it a little bit differently in order to be able to have right-click and undo stack. Okay, let me demo this a different way. We'll add these here. I am not going to right-click because that's going to reset my undo stack. But when I run it again, I still have an undo stack. I can hit Control Z and undo the stuff I was doing last time. Now I know most programs tend to just reset that and not keep any sort of history, but I find myself that usually code blocks when it crashes, I'm like, dang, I had something in my clipboard or I had something I was about to undo, but it crashed and now I have to go search through it, so I just went ahead and implemented that. It can be cleared out by just deleting the undo stack. I'll add a button to clear it from the program later. So let's talk about some of the things. Let's see. I held the right mouse button while I did that, so I can't currently undo it, but all things will be updated if I continue working with C++ and SFML for later things. I can also hit load. So the code itself is a little bit messy, but also a little bit organized. So let's fold everything real quick. I have the editor state, that's where this whole window is, everything is being set up. So the UI, at the moment, I don't have a markup system set up. I did in my last C++ engine called Kuko, which used SDL, and I just used Lua to define the structure of menus and the UI. Right now I'm doing that all manually in a setup function where it sets up all of my labels through the UI manager that I've implemented, buttons, and so on. The buttons have a key, then I can reference that key later on to see if it's been clicked. That cat is very noisy. Please forgive me for a noisy cat. So in the update, I have some cooldowns. These need to be moved into their own sort of thing, like the input manager. I need to write an input manager that deals with cooldown for the mouse and for the keyboard. Why? Well, because when I hit, what was the button I did? There was a button to change the layer, or if I do this, I don't want to hit W briefly and have it move all the way over here. It needs to have some sort of cooldown so it doesn't just run a bunch of times. So here is some keyboard shortcuts. We have changed the width and height quickly, just toggle through those with Q and E. That's probably not a very good keyboard shortcut, but I'll probably remove that later. We have changing the layer, changing the type of tiles you're placing, navigating the tile set, saving the map, loading the map, and then hitting undo. For undo, the map itself takes care of that. So really I would like to create a base map class and then separate out like an editable map from a game map. So within the map object, I have this tile placement info stack of information about what tile has been placed last. That contains which layer was updated, because there's going to be multiple layers of each type. Tile index, so tiles are stored in a vector, and whether or not this was a new tile or overwriting an existing tile, the new or the old texture region, because if you're overwriting an existing tile, you're just changing the texture, and then the action index, just so you can kind of look at the file, and see that the stack is in the right order. So inside of the map contains below tile layers. Those show up below the player and characters. Above tile layers, those show up above the characters. They have integers for which layer number they are, and then they have a tile layer object. The tile layer is what contains the vector of tiles. So you have multiple layers, but also an array of tiles per layer. And that just kind of handles all of that stuff. In our undo, where is undo? It will look at whether this was a new tile and either like remove the tile, it just pops it off the stack, or it'll update the tile texture back to what it was originally. So it's basically a stack of kind of state changes for the tiles. Changing the brush literally just sets the image rectangle that is currently being set as what new tiles get, because they all share the same texture. You just have to update the cropping region. Layers, brush width. They just dumped my garbage can. There's the mouse handling. So I have 3 regions set up just as members of the editor state. There's the map region over here, the tile set region, and you can clearly see the rectangles that are highlighting that area, and the control panel region. So it detects which region you're pressing the mouse button in. If you do a right mouse click, it will remove stuff from that texture, and because it removes the index of a tile in the vector of tiles, it also resets our stack size or undo stack size, because I could implement it to undo removals, or even to be able to still undo after removals. Actually, that might not be a problem, since if you undo, you're going to undo your erase anyway, and that should fix the index problem, so I guess that's fine. Yeah, so left mouse button, right mouse button, then it just draws all of the UI stuff to the screen. That's odd. Okay, my draw manager should take care of the UI stuff on its own, but I guess I'm just manually taking stuff from the UI manager and putting it in the draw manager. Maybe I didn't implement that, but I just thought about it. It uses a map object. Now maps have save as well as load. I removed the JSON stuff. It was good, but I kind of prefer to minimize the amount of external libraries needed for something, so it's already using SFML. The text format is fine. I don't care if people edit my maps. It's whatever. I could do something to obfuscate it, or, you know, make it ineditable once I distribute a game, but it's fine. Placing a tile, we just checked if we want to snap to the grid here. Otherwise, we could just freeform place it anywhere on the map. So we basically do a integer division by the tile width and height, and then multiply it by the same thing again, just to kind of take whatever its nearest grid item was. It creates a new tile, sets up its crop area on the tile set, sets the layer that it's on, and then adds it to the map. Remove tile will let you do the same thing. And since you can independently set these, it will also remove whatever region you're clicking on. It'll cover all of that. There's not a whole lot of other technical stuff I can think of. I have some functions to update the UI every time something changes. Like if the user clicked on a new layer, then it updates the layer label, because otherwise this isn't going to update on its own. I have to update it myself because I don't have callbacks implemented. And I don't like programming that gets too complicated, I guess. I don't know. Things get like, just, I don't know. I'm just making a game, and I'm making it the way I want to make it. So shut up. Okay. Mainly I'm referencing there how, like in web development, you can set up this field is bound to that. Now it will auto-update with magic behind the scenes, with the framework you're using to do that stuff. And at some point, I like knowing what the code is going to do. I don't really like magic code. So that's why I don't work with higher level things usually. Or I prefer to roll my own. Because that's me. That's just what I prefer. Maybe there's no logic there. Maybe I should be using Unity. I don't know, but this is what's fun for me, so Okay, so that's the editor. The messy parts is just like dealing with the UI stuff. It of course could be refactored, and the older this gets, like if I use this for additional games in the future, I will update it to be more generalized, so you could set tile sizes and update more options and all of that. Have more features that I need. I have a list here of features that I would like to still implement, such as a fill. I need to implement adding warps and character placements. I would like to add something so you know what tiles are on which layer, such as perhaps shading darker the tiles that are not on the current layer that you're working on. Or just some more debug information. I just threw that piece of paper. Okay, so I think that's good for now. So where am I at with the game? Well, it's been another week of working on map-related things. Not bugs this time, but map-related things, rolling a map editor, which I think will be functional in the next week if I don't get too overwhelmed with things. And then I can go back to working on the game. And in the game, I have warping between maps. I just have to now customize, adjust things a little bit because I've changed up a little bit of the cello engine. I've given the engine a name. Maybe I'll get the game done by the end of January. That's my new hope. I mean, of course, in December I was very busy with holidays, and in November I was busy with holidays. But unfortunately, this month is the month of class prep busyness, so that will also be a thing. I am logging my hours on what I work on. So, for example, I did work 8.5 hours yesterday, just not all on game development. I got to spend maybe an hour on game development and 3 hours on video editing, and then 4 hours on jobs outside of the house. So, I don't know, we're just doing this for funsies, I guess. And I hope that I can get back to making the actual game pretty soon, because I would like to finish the game. Also, those cats dumped all my alcohol-based markers on the ground while I was gone. But it's okay. I love you, Luna. Luna! Hi. What's up? So hopefully I'll have more time to do some programming today. I have some more stuff scheduled for today. And I'll probably do maybe a little bit of game programming tomorrow. And then back during the week itself, I have split between halftime class prep, halftime game dev. I can get a lot of stuff done in 2 hours with programming. I don't know. January 1st, I was immediately stressed out because it's like, now it's time to prep for classes. And now I'm starting to feel that crunch. And I'm going to India for a couple weeks, so I'm going to miss 2 class sections. And so I need to make sure I have at least 4 weeks of class prepared. Preferably 5 weeks of class prepared before classes begin on the 20th. So that's why I'm stressed right now. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I look forward to making more games here in the 20s. And I hope you enjoy watching me talk about programming and stuff. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna go have another cup of coffee.